It's Rick from Dogtooth, and I'm here with Dainton Lee from Dirty Sanchez, and we're going to have a little chat about, mostly about the stuff, I guess, post Dirty Sanchez, but it's more about the creative process and basically us creative misfits making a living and just see where we go from there. But first of all, Dainton, I'd love to kind of hear about what your schooling sort of early part of life was about. And the reason why is I was doing a little bit of reading online, and one of the lines that I saw was, not much is known about Dainton, what Dainton did at school. So I thought that would be a good place to start.
Wow. There's a good reason why there's not much known about what Dainton did at school, because I actually don't know myself. So do you want to know what I did in school, or my bit of a school background?
Yeah, let's do that, because what I guess the premise of the video is kind of like achieving almost by accident. How do we get there? You know, because I think both of us come from a similar background, kind of council-y sort of upbringing and working class, and then becoming creatives, and how you navigate the fact that you might have a bit of dyslexia and same, and how life has taken us on this path. And that's kind of what I'm looking at, and imposter syndrome and all that kind of stuff that kind of builds who we are basically, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. But if we were to sow the seeds of the early Dainton Lee, in school, what what would they say apart from could do better, probably?
Well, what would they say? I just get him for the school system and get him out here, like just Rick, my schooling was like, I struggled all the way through school. I struggled through like English, maths, science, history. I struggled through pretty much all of it, apart from like, is it like PE they call it, physical exercise? Yep. Is it PE they call it now? Like the games and all that. Like, so I did well at that, and I did all right at like I did all right in art, and then I was like really into like tech drawing, but really, Rick, right? Seriously, like I absolutely sucked at school. I don't know if I told you this before, but when I was in my first year of primary school, when it was time to leave and go into the second year, they kept me back into the first year because I wasn't ready to go in the second year still.
Right.
And I think they thought that I would like have 2 years in the first year, like kind of get a better base of like the basics. And then they skipped me to the third year. I missed year 2, and I was completely screwed. Dude, like seriously, I didn't have a clue. And I think from that moment on, I kind of just did my best to get through school without being found out that I was like, I just didn't get it. It didn't sink in. I didn't get it. It didn't sink in. And it was tough. It was actually quite tough. And I think it was a lot of anxiety in school for me because of that. So then, and that kind of went on through like junior school, the primary school, junior school, like cheating. I cheated my spellings so I wouldn't get like a slap off the teacher. I found out the system how to cheat in my spellings. And then if you got like 10 out of 10 in your class for spelling, you would go to the head. Sounds so dodgy. Go to the headmaster's office with whoever else had like 10 out of 10, and you get like a biscuit, like a Viscount biscuit or some like chocolate biscuit. So I think what I'm trying to say is, Rick, I had to kind of get through school in a way that I wasn't really learning much. I was just getting through school to get through school.
Yep.
I loved like sports, and I loved I wasn't big into art in school, but I could draw.
Right.
But anyway, in a nutshell, I left school with nothing, Rick. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that you'd said before, excuse me, was that struck me was like the way that you chose the next part of life, your career. I think you also mentioned that during that time you started, did you pick up a video camera and start filming then, sort of like as a teenager? Is that right?
Well, I got into skateboarding. I think I was when I was about 14. And I think it was until about 2 years later, 16, I got it. Obviously, I was getting at skateboarding, reading magazines, and I started, getting these VHS tapes with from the US, with the US pros, from the Santa Cruz videos, Wheels on Fire, Streets on Fire, to the public domain, the Powell videos, Powell Peralta, so I picked up a video. I got my mum to hire a video camera, like the big Back to the Future thing.
Yeah.
So instantly well, this is it thing is, Rick, I found skateboarding towards the end of school, and that's all I literally forgot about school. I completely forgot about school. It just went, because I think when you find something wherever it is that you're so it just, I can't even explain how much of a magnet it was to me, but it just, it's all that mattered. It really was all that mattered. So I kind of got into I got into filmmaking through skateboarding, and but that wasn't, oh shit, I don't want to be too linear here, but anyway, I kind of got into all the things I've done just through my interest. There's not a lot of shit I'm interested in apart from the stuff I'm interested in, and
well, I guess that whenever I've watched these sort of motivational speaker types who've made it in life, it's always kind of like the people that really were passionate about something, and they pushed what they wanted to push. And almost what you're saying in a way is that that nothing else mattered other than skateboarding, and obviously that led on to that passion meant you just got rid of school and everything, and obviously you probably, most adults are probably thinking that was a bad thing, but then you went on to be a pro, and then you went on to get on TV, and opportunities all open. So for you, because you were so into it, it led to everything else, I guess. So it wasn't a bad choice.
No. They say about the laws of attraction and all that. And I think it just, not that I'm, but it just kind of what happened, Rick, is basically as well with that, I with skateboarding, because I needed to learn to build, I wanted to skate ramps, and because where I lived up in Pontypool, which is like the foothills of the Welsh Alps, up in the valleys, there weren't, back then in the late 80s, there was obviously no skate parks. So I sucked at school at carpentry. I absolutely sucked. I had no interest. I was like a saw with sharp teeth, just cut things, didn't care. And I learned to handle tools through the need to build ramps to skate.
Yeah.
So I kind of, byproduct of skateboarding, I became a carpenter.
Yeah.
And I did that. So that was my first real education. I was educated all through school to a degree, but I don't feel like I really learned a skill until I'd found skateboarding, and then obviously kind of got me to learn all these other things off the back, like filmmaking, just all sorts. So carpentry was the big one to start with, and it did the job as well, because whilst I was working as an apprentice, and I could just pick up all these bits of wood and screws and stuff, and I could make these ramps.
Yeah, I love that. I think when we had a chat about it before, just the very nature of your passion makes you do something that you don't necessarily want to do, but it's the passion drives you to pick up the tools and learn how to do something. I love the notion that that you're prepared to do that. That's just single-minded thing, isn't it? It's
I don't want
makes the best, I think.
Totally. You don't want to eat shit when you're skateboarding either, but you have to together, don't you? You have to take the slams and the spills, as they say, and to get to the other side, to get good at skateboarding or get the tricks down. And carpentry's that. But obviously, seriously, I found out that I actually really like carpentry, and it wasn't just this thing that so I'm super ignorant kid Rick, you know, super ignorant kid that really didn't think too much. I don't know. I was just wrapped up in my own world as a kid.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So
yeah, well, we're kids. You know, they say that education is wasted on the young, don't they? And I think it's so true, especially on people like me, where it literally just bounces off. And the only way I'm going to learn it is if I want to learn it. You know, like if I'm interested in it, it goes in. But it's just like and now as an adult, I can't get enough of, you know, of many subjects. I'm interested in almost everything. But as a kid, like all I wanted to do was do art, you know, and later on business studies. But you know, art was but it's that question, I guess, for me in my life is like, was I good at art because I was good at art and people said, oh, you're really good at art, so you get better at art? Or was I good at art because I was rubbish at everything else? And then they were like, it's the only thing you can do, make him good at art.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. It's probably you got attracted to it and you just didn't even realize at the time, but it's always the inside, it's inside you, isn't it? You know, you just don't realize it.
Yeah, I definitely do feel like, you know, that I'm made for it. You know, that's that. My dad's a bit like it, so it's obviously passed down in my mind. So, yeah, actually, you know, in that little sort of rant there we were on, we actually covered some of the things that I wanted to talk about, which was the, you know, the joinery. I love that. It really struck me when we were talking about it before. But like, what about where did the next thing of like, the skateboarding was like the passion, but you learned another skill, which was the camera, because it would enable you to do, you know, to show your skateboarding off, to show your art off in a way. So like, how did you get to learn that? Did you go to college to do it? Or, you know, how, like, what was the next steps for that side of the passion?
Well, I had the higher camera, the VHS camera, when I was about 16 for like a weekend. And I didn't own another video camera then until I was 28. Because I just, you know, I just didn't have the money. It wasn't until much later on that I really got into it. But what was the question again, Rick? I've had a lot of bumps to the head. What was the question again?
Nope. I was kind of getting at, like, when you picked up the camera to become the video guy, you know, like when was that? And how did that come about? Is it just a natural thing where the guys just shoved a camera in your hand and told you to film them? You know, how did it come about? Because it's now your career, and that's kind of like, where's the spark? Apart from that, with the camera,
I think it kind of happened, not by accident, obviously not by accident, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, you know, it wasn't something I was consciously like in the background. I'd always thought I was going to get to do. I don't think so. But I just watched loads of skate videos, and I love skateboard videos. I just love the way they shot. I love the feeling they give you, the soundtrack. Just, you know, when there's a great when there's an amazing skate section by one of your pro skaters that you're into, or a skate video, I think I just wanted to kind of copy that. It attracted me. I was like, I want to make a skate video.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I think there's a few of my friends in the South Wales skateboard scene. One of them, Matthew Dye, that is a BMXer. He made teen videos of BMXing and skateboarding, which is quite rare now. But back then, the skaters and the BMXers, we all stuck together because, like, you know, we were all kind of like social misfits and liked by the majority of the public. So we kind of stuck together because there wasn't that many of us. So our friend Denny would made quite a few classic South Wales scene videos with BMX and skateboarding. And I think maybe there was a bit of that there, you know, watching Denny's videos, it inspired me to pick the camera up. But then there's another guy called Matthew Ryan, and another close friend from skateboard, and he'd made a couple of scene videos already. And by that time I was sponsored, and I was traveling and skating and, you know, getting sent free stuff, and you got to try and, you know, keep up, you got to try and stay in the magazine and put these video parts out for your sponsors to keep sending you stuff, so you can just keep living inside this kind of like different reality, so to speak. So I think obviously I was a big fan of the British just a fan of skateboard in general, and I just wanted to give it a go. And I remember saying to my friend, actually the first friend, Danny, the guy that BMX'd and that made the original scene videos, he borrowed myself and Pritch a video camera, and we took it to the French Alps, took it to Les Arcs, snowboarded to film some snowboarding, pre-Sanchez, pre-Pritchard versus Dainton, pre any like kind of thought of TV or like anything like that. And we made this video, we kind of shot a bunch of snowboarding a little bit, but we were stuck on the mountain with not a lot to do in the evenings in this chalet, and we just made our own fun with this video camera. And I think pretty much what happened, we got back, myself and Pritch watched the footage back and we were like in tears laughing at this, like basically an hour and a half of us trying to smash this beer bottles over our heads, influenced by the old snowboard whiskey videos. And so we came back from the French Alps, we had this footage, we were laughing, it was hilarious. Another friend our friend Matthew Ryan was about to make a new scene video, and I was like, why don't we come together, collaborate, I'll help you film it, I'll buy a camera, and we will produce the sickest British skate video of all time. I mean, bit naive to say that, and I mean, like, I don't even know why I thought like the best and all that nonsense. It was just, we just wanted to make a fun skate video at the end of the day. But I think putting that image in my friend's head, we're going to make the sickest video, it's going to be the biggest thing. And I was just like trying to pull him in to get this going. Because I do like working with other people. When you work on your own, I just like working with people. So we produced this video together. I took my redundancy from the council as a carpenter, started working in the skate store, bought a video camera with my redundancy money, and this Sentry Optics Mark I fisheye lens called the Def lens. Actually, it's here somewhere. It's in the room somewhere. Hang on, 2 seconds. Here it is. There's the front element. There's the front element to that.
Wow.
So that.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's the front part of the lens, because it got so bashed up, I had to buy a new one. But that was like 800 quid, and bought this video camera as well. It was like what they were all using, and we set about making a skate video. So, Rick, basically, it went from like not having a video camera to making one video when I was like 16, about 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Fast forward, a decade later, buy a video camera, make a skate video with my friend, and with the help of an amazing editor, Simon Kotovich, and we produced Pritchard versus Dainton, and it kind of just, kind of blew up.
This was before Sanchez, and then did you send that video? Was that the video that you sent to MTV, or was there another video that? Oh, was there a show they wanted to do with you?
Yeah, kind of something like that. So basically, this video that we made, we'd sent out loads of like 3-minute promo videos to all the skate stores. And I worked with Pritch, who's a long friend, skateboarder, Dirty Sanchez. I worked with Pritch. Pritch worked in the skate industry, and he sent these, because obviously it was the premise of the video was Pritchard versus Dainton, by the way. There's a bunch of them up there as well, banned. We got Pritch sent those promo videos out to like the deep, back in some of the more kind of the skate distributors or whatever.
Yep.
Actually, let's scrap that. He didn't send them out to the skate distributors. Pritch sent it out, this promo video, to like the mainstream lads mags.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it was just the 3-minute, loaded, and FH. I think it was FHM actually that picked it up.
Yeah.
So it just created a load of hype, and so we never actually sent a single thing to MTV.
Right.
Basically, FHM picked up on this promo video that myself and Pritch and Matthew Ryan had produced. The film wasn't even out yet. We were still making it, but we were creating this hype as we were going along.
Yeah.
sending it out to like all the skate stores and the skate mags, and you know, just to get written about. And there was a show called Passengers on Channel 4, and I spoke about this quite a bit, like, so, but I'll just quickly run through it. This show on Channel 4 called Passengers. They did short like mini docs on subcultures, and it could be like Japanese bi racers, you know, it could be like some kind of like weird cult, and they came to Wales and shot. They saw that video and they ended up wanting to put us inside the program, and we did that for Channel 4,
right?
Based off this like 3-minute teaser. Yeah. MTV saw that program when it came out. Someone at MTV, and it was just as easy as that, Rick. To be honest, they got us in for the meeting. They'd seen this like they'd seen this little bit on Channel 4, and they were looking for presenters for a new show that they were looking at producing called Shock Idol. And we're like, all right, because they got us we got into MTV, they got us down there. Oh, I'm just talking on and on and on. I'm just going to branch out. But cut a long story short, MTV saw the Passengers thing that we did on subcultures. They got us in. They wanted presenters for this new TV show. We thought the name of the show was shit. We thought the idea of the show was shit. And we're like, fuck that. If you want to produce a show called Shock Idol and go around the country as presenters looking for the UK's most fucked up people, we're like, well, here we are. Don't need to look any further. And they were like, yeah, you know, fucking 2 secs. Just giving it a little bit of who the fuck do these guys think they are? And we said, well, look, before we go, there's a copy of our video, the full length, 50 minutes. Watch that, and then come back to us and let us know if you want to do a proper TV show. And yeah, we all jumped on we all left MTV. Joyce ran around the offices naked. I was outside on the curb thinking it was cool to be in MTV and all that nonsense. And yeah, that's how that all snowballed into Dirty Sanchez. So, Rick, is some people, you know, I mean, we weren't trying to be on TV, by the way. You know, we weren't trying to be on TV, but we kind of, I kind of had a feeling that what we were doing could jump to the mainstream outside of skateboarding. And it did, yeah. And that's kind of really, that's how it happened. It wasn't like some sort of like huge PR campaign to build our names and, you know, and all this shit.
Yeah.
It was just.
There's a couple of things in what you just said. That the story of that is that you literally went viral, but you did that in a very similar way that you could do it today, which is like to drop those little bits before it's all done, you know, minimum viable product, get it out there kind of thing. That's what you were doing, and you were doing it in the way that you could then. But what's interesting is that you just went through every door that opened. You didn't stop. You didn't hesitate. You didn't question. You didn't talk about like, you know, well, what's the deal? Right? You literally just ran through the doors of opportunity. And tell the story about. I've heard this on another podcast, and we spoke about it. But when you were managing the skate store, and they called you on the phone to do MTV Awards. How did that come about?
So season 1 of Sanchez had just not long come out, and I was still managing the skate store, and I get a phone call, and it's the director, Becky Staniforth, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing on Wednesday?" I'm like, I'm gonna just be in the store all week in the skate shop. She's like, "All right, well, Dirty Sanchez has gone to #1 in the, you know, South American like TV charts or whatever it is, and the MTV Awards are on, and they want you to go out and present some awards at the MTV Awards in Miami." I was like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah. And it was as simple as that. It was as simple as that. We just flew, like, literally everything just changed so quickly, Rick. It was fucking wild. It was just, I don't know, weird. Just, again, because we weren't trying to work together, it got there, and we just found ourselves straight there.
So you were 28 when you were made redundant. When was that? When did you get the call from, like, how old would you be?
29.
29, yeah. that is crackers, isn't it? That
Yeah,
is
because
whirlwind.
totally, because I was like, you know, as a carpenter on the council, and I was making decent money, but is you know, I couldn't be proud of the work I was doing. I was just, it wasn't some sort of like mad career where I was working that I was looking to stay, you know. All my friends would say like, job for life. What are you doing leaving? I'm like, I've got this chance to right now, I've got this chance to fucking break free and really do something.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's what I just took all the opportunities, you know, and just fucking ran with it.
Yeah. And it, like, again, that to me is like that risk-taking mentality. It is part of why I think we get on, you know. Like, I think that's I was going to tell this story later, but I think when we first met, was on the Atlantic road trip, and I knew who you were. I knew who you were from back in the day. I used to snowboard and surf and that kind of stuff. And, you know, that whole culture, you know, you were part of it. And then when we met on the road trip, we didn't meet because I sat back, as reserved myself. I was like, you know, look at it.
Everything as it is.
No, kind of thing. I just wasn't, you know, I didn't want to get involved. Anyway, then we took you, we gave you, Rich and Warren, I think, lift back to the airport, and you were just chatting in the back. And I think, was Nathan driving or was I driving? I can't remember. Anyway,
Nathan, the lunatic was driving.
Yes, Nathan was driving. Yeah, because you were a little bit sort of on edge, let's say. But I just realized that, you know, you were just like me. You know, like you'd had, you know, all that experience in life, all the TV and everything. But actually, in everything that you said, I literally just felt a kindred spirit. And that's the only way I can put it, really. That, you know, that you were just creatives and like me, and you know, there was nothing different.
Nothing different. I think because you skated and snowboarded, Rick, and you know, obviously I did. Like, when you meet someone that skates and snowboards, it's just instant. Like, all right, okay, cool. Like, you know, you haven't got to try and like. Fucking, it's not even out to speak then, is it? You can just you know, you just know. I can't explain it, but we all are very, well, we're not the same, but we're all into the right things that we're excited about. And, you know, skateboard and snowboard is not just the actual act of riding, is it? It's everything else that comes with it. So yeah, we were instant buddies.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But again, like pulling the threads back through. So, you know, you went for every opportunity. It all opened in front of you because you said yes. And that's a key thing that I feel like, you know, in my life, everything big or good has always happened when I have said yes, when I've pushed myself. And when I've come short, it's always been when I've had that hesitation, you know, not done something, and, you know, or I've seen an opportunity and not done it, not pulled the trigger, hesitated a moment, and then it's not happened. So, you know, I feel it's definitely worth pushing, you know, like opening doors or running through doors when they're open. So, you know, there's some people I feel like, you know, they say yes to every opportunity because every opportunity, you have the opportunity once you're through the door to say, it's not quite for me, and turn around. But if you say no to that opportunity before you're in it, you're making a judgment on something that you might never get that chance again, because opportunity says no, you know.
From like, seriously, from like I just knew that I would never get another opportunity like that, because when I was in school, like I didn't want to, when I was in school, I didn't have any big aspirations to become like career wise. I just wanted to skate, and that's, so yeah, because of my lack of education, I would say, I had no other option but to say yes. It's just because what else was I going to fucking do? Like, you know, I did, you know, a lot, you know, and it was a big thing for me to become a carpenter, but there was something else out there, and I had to just, you have to walk through that door.
Yeah.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? What's the worst that's gonna happen?
Exactly. And good is the enemy of great, and good was being the joiner, and great was being the skater. And that you could have settled. I'm assuming you were a pro while you were a joiner as well, weren't you?
Well, listen, I don't know. I don't think I was a pro skater I don't really class myself as a pro skater, but I did have a board with my name on it. There's a couple by there.
Yeah.
But
British pros is a totally different level of what most people know as pros. I think we're kind of backwater. The Brit. We have the own little scene. We might be. Yeah, pros is like pennies, isn't it, over here?
Yeah.
So.
But I was I think I might have been sponsored. Yeah, I was getting like free products off a few different companies, and I was hooked up by a skate store. Yeah. So yeah, I did get free stuff.
Yeah, and that's all you want when you're doing what you love.
Just give me some stickers.
Yeah, give me some stickers. Exactly. Right. So then, Dirty Sanchez kicks off, and like you've done so many sort of interviews and stuff about Dirty Sanchez. I'm kind of just going to skim across it. But other than to say that you experienced pretty much in a very short period of time, pretty much every potential thing that a human could experience. So being on MTV, being on like Gumball, meeting all these famous and rich people, and like you flew around the world, didn't you? How many seasons of Dirty Sanchez was there?
I think there was seven seasons
and a movie.
And a movie, yeah. And they cut the movie into a season.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. Just MTV. Yeah. Just trying to milk it. So that really there was like 6 seasons in a movie. Yeah.
So you had all that. When would you say that sort of ended as a thing, as an opportunity, that door closed?
I think I think MTV were, sorry, let's go back. We made Sanchez Get High in 2009. Yeah. And then they were still airing and repeating Sanchez for like, a few years later. So I always kind of thought there might have been like another chance of a show or something. But 2009 was the last TV show I made for MTV in 2009. Yeah.
So then after that, were you, because you did Kill City for a while, that was your own brand, is that right?
Yeah.
Skateboard and stuff. Was that sort of that time?
So I was doing that during Sanchez,
right.
and also what went on for a lot longer than the TV show was making TV was the live touring. So, we kind of like turned Sanchez into this kind of like, carnage fucking circus show. So there was there was a life beyond the TV of Dirty Sanchez, and it was just touring all over the place, Europe, like we went to Australia, the States, we went went to all the countries that the show did really well in. So that continued on, and I think that continued on till about 2014.
Right.
So we literally went from 2002, late 2002 until 12 years of just, flat out debauched, like lunacy. Right. I just don't know.
Living life to the full.
Just literally hustling to stay out of the 9 to 5. Yeah. That's what it was. We just didn't want to get back in that trap.
Yeah. Misfits making a living. So then you, after that, another person that comes along is Rich. And because you have a business which is Flock and Follow, which is you and him doing sort of video and filmmaking and photography for brands. And I remember last time we spoke, you said that you've known him for a long time. So his thread goes way back into your sort of past, and on the videos that I just watched of the Sunday Stooges. He's quite young in that. A few points. He looks quite young in there. So I don't. That's obviously like 10. What was it? 12 years ago? 13 years ago?
Yeah, it was quite a while. Yeah, I was making those, like, I think when not long after YouTube started, I started like they were vlogs back before kind of, yeah.
They were really good, dude, actually. You know,
I had no idea
whether we put this in or not, they were good. The first few, you can see a certain grain to them. Then it hits like, I think 10, and it's like the camera quality just goes up a notch. Did you get a new camera?
I think I just need. I think the reason why the quality went up is because I learned out the settings,
right?
the export settings in Final Cut Pro. It wasn't because I just got like this new, you know. But I did, I went out. I did buy like a baller, you know, Sony EX1 camera at the time and all this. But yeah, most of my skate stuff was filmed with the original skate camera.
Right.
And this bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see the fisheye on quite a few of them, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed them. Just as an aside,
they were good fun. I was like, they were really, really good fun. And I probably would have developed them on. It could have become something else.
Yeah.
But I started doing something called Goon TV with a friend.
Right.
And yeah, and then you get caught up, and you're like,
yeah. I think you mentioned that before. So you're Flock and Follow now. That's you selling your skills that you learned from your passion, which was skateboarding, and you've turned your video in now into essentially making a living. You know, with doing something that you love doing, which is not. So you know, now at your age, skating or video, which one, or are they just the same?
Bit of both, really, because
right.
I ride my skateboard a lot to get certain shots, you know, to get these smooth dolly shots. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely like, yeah. I mean, I love skateboarding. I'm absolutely smashed to bits. So, yeah. I still skate. It's a lot less.
Yeah, well, even in one of those videos, they did say, I think it's time for you to give up, Dainton. That was 2009.
That ain't happening. No, I'm still looking for spots when I drive down the road. I'm like, that looks pretty good. We could probably get that, and, you know, or me pointing at things for other people to do.
Yeah.
In skateboarding.
Yeah, well, I've just recently been snowboarding, but when I went, it's probably 10 years since I'd been previously. And the last time I went with my brother, and he's like 11 years younger than me, and went with all his mates, and they're all like in the park and stuff. And it's funny when it's your younger brother, it's really hard to back down from what he can do. So I ended up, I think, punctured my top of my eye with me goggles from a compression, ended up twisting me knee. So I just thought, I'm just getting too old for this. I can't do it anymore.
This is it. It's the competition.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just nothing but good, because it's, you know, it obviously you took a few more extra heavier slams, but that fun competition with your brother just got you to get better. And like with myself and Pritch, which, you know, we created like Pritch versus Dainton, and I went to beat JT Sanchez. That was through competition.
Yeah.
Through just rivalry between us, you know, good fun rivalry. So you got to have a slice of that in there.
Yeah,
can't beat that.
Yeah, I've never done team sports, never enjoyed them, but I can't back away from, you know, like if someone can do that jump, you know, then I've got to have a go at that.
Totally. Yeah. Well, as long as you work your way up there.
Yeah. So sorry, let's get back to Flock and Follow, and so this, you can use this as a little bit of a advert. What is Flock and Follow?
What is Flock and Follow? Well, Flock and Follow is myself and Richie P. Walton, and we create branded content for individuals, brands, companies, and basically Flock and Follow is just a vehicle for us to stay out the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Right. And we get to travel through, you know, doing these jobs, and get to travel, get to stay out the 9 to 5, get to have fun, get to learn and create and hang out, and yeah, it couldn't be, I don't think it couldn't be any better, Rick. It's the same as Sanchez, but behind the camera. It doesn't hurt as much, you know?
Yeah.
I've just got to pull things out of my mind a bit. I can't just get away with getting smacked over the head or like stapling my balls to the table. I've got to actually like, come up with like, something a bit more creative. But
Yeah.
so Flock and Follow, is a vehicle that we drive around to stay out the 95, and it's a creative vehicle that pays the bills and enables us to live our lives the way we want to.
Yeah. And you love it. Well, it appears that you love it. When we chatted before, it was like I was asking you kind of what is it that makes you you, and you were talking about the fact that the motion, the speed sort of side of it's come from the skating. That's what you're good at. That's the kind of thing that you give to clients now, really.
Yeah. It's just that kind of organic, kind of like through skateboarding, and we all have different styles and tastes, don't we? And I've just developed mine through I'm not sure, Rick. I'm not very good at selling myself like that, but I don't know. The companies get me to come and do the work, and they're really happy, and they get me to come back, and that's all that matters, Rick. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you? One of the things that I'm interested in as myself, but I know many people who are what you would term the creative spectrum, who kind of struggle with the notion that they are actually, like good enough to do the job, or and I kind of feel like maybe I picked up on something when you said you were sat in an office with like the head of Ford or something, and thinking, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome, isn't it? I think
it is imposter syndrome. Yeah. I had no option though. I got no other options. I told you I sucked at school, and the only way I can go forward is by just going through the doors that are there for me.
Yeah.
And some of the jobs I do, if you told me I was going to do them 10 years ago, I'd be like, fucking no chance. But I've just kind of like somehow through skateboarding, slowly over the course of time, just got more skills and learned, and just kind of got a. And here I am now, not that here I am now, but I just get to do, I get to do jobs that I love doing.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that, again, that is the one key thing that obviously I'm keen on getting other people interested in, like this is why I'm doing this is that it's finding a passion and the dream and going after it. And to me, that's exactly what you're doing. You're doing what you love doing. I do that. We have to do terrible, awful things sometimes. And I don't mean like in the world scale, but like, I've got to clean stuff, and I've got to, like just do manual labor and things that I don't want to do. But Rick, everything, I love everything around it.
Exactly. So that all those little, you got to do the things you want to do is like, I didn't want to staple. I want to do half the things I did in Sanchez. I just wanted to hang out with my mates and laugh with them, But yeah. Rick, I'm gonna have to pull. Can I run and grab my bloody charger? This thing's gonna die now. Two secs. Sorry.
A few moments later.
I got so much crap in this office kicking about. Here it is. Here's the original camera. There it is. There's the original camera.
Oh, I think I might have had something like that. That's a Sony, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I might even still have that in my parents' loft.
I had a bit of a disaster in my entry to the filmmaking. My wife's mother went to China on holiday for some reason. I know, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you go to China? Can you get me this camera?" I was like, "It's the Sony TRV 900. I don't want anything else. Come back with the money if you can't get this camera." It's like, "Yeah," and this camera's like, you can get this everywhere in Japan. It's not a problem to get this camera, and she came back and she's like, I said, "Did you get the camera?" She's like, I got you a camera, but it's not the one you wanted." I'm like, "What'd you get me?" And she's like, "I know, got me something else." And I had to sell that camera for like less than I bought it for immediately, and then buy another one of these. But this is it. That's what started it.
That needs to be on like a little plinth somewhere, doesn't it?
Stick it in, get Damien Hirst to put it in formaldehyde like one of his cows. Yeah. Sorry, Rick.
It's all right. No, that's an insight into, well, it's all this kind of stuff that for me, it's it's the foundation of who you are, isn't it? You know, like all these little things where, you know, like I've in my attic, I've got my drawings from when I was 4 or 5, I think it is, drawing rally cars, you know, and I ended up, well, I wanted to be a car designer when I was at secondary school. So like in the second year, you know, like CDT teachers like, put your hands up, you know, if you know what you want to be, what you would like to do. And I'm like, no, I'd be a car designer. And I remember him, thankfully he's no longer around, so I won't mention his name anyway. But he said, oh, you'll never be that. I mean, we're talking the 80s, so it's totally different sort of schooling system, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, but still, like, you know, we're still, you know, we're still like, still got a brain. It's like, you'll never be that. I mean, I get it though, Rick. That's all I ever had. It's all I ever had.
Yeah.
It's like, grow up. What do you want to skateboard for? What are you doing here? You know, just literally like you know, just from everyone like pushing you down. And yeah, like, you know, we can all do anything. I mean, shit, dude, I fucking made a TV show for MTV and it did all this stuff, and I left school with nothing.
Yeah.
You know, nothing. I didn't leave school with anything.
Yeah.
And you know, and there you are. You know, you're there's no time limit to being to designing cars either, is it? So you're putting stickers and like shaping stickers to cars, which is designing and modding.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could feel like there is a continuum to, that, you know, that I've been able to carry that automotive thread through and do some like the graphical side of cars and stuff. But yeah, I ain't bothered now. I think if I'd have realized how much, I mean, just like I've switched to architecture in the 3rd year, I was like, I want to be an architect. And then it was like, well, you've got to do this much study. I was like, nope, I'll just be a graphic designer.
Yeah, totally. But this is it. That right. Okay. So I love tech drawing in school. And I was like, I'd love to be an architect. Someone's like, oh, 4 years in university. I'm like, blah, blah, can't even do English, can't do maths. Well, I can do maths because I'm a carpenter. But yeah, same thing. I'm like, oh shit, I can skateboard. This is the only thing. I just have to do this. I'll be happy. Yeah. I suck at everything else. I don't care. I'll just be skint as long as I can skateboard, right? I don't give a shit how poor I am. As long as that's there for me, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then everything else kind of come from that.
Yeah. And like, this might be too deep, but do you think that you always thought that something would come of it? Did you always think, I've got something, you know, like, there's the potential, or did you lose it? You know, like, would you just in the moment, I want to ride, I don't care about anything else? Or did you think, I could make it?
There was something, and I couldn't leave it alone, Rick. Yeah. Couldn't leave it. Still can't fucking leave it alone, to be honest.
Yeah. And we're like, what? I think you're a couple of years. I think you're born in 73. I've done all my research, you see.
Yeah.
And I'm 75, so you know, we're getting on a bit now, but you can't stop being a kid inside, can you? You know.
Oh, I mean, that's the one thing they try and drum out of you. It's like, are you fucking real? Like, wait. Like the very thing that puts a smile on your face. Yeah. They oh, you're growing up now. You're fucking too old for that shit. And it's like, no, listen, let me tell you something, right? You've lost the plot. You have no idea, right? Stay happy. Do whatever the fuck you need to do to stay happy. Yeah. I'd say, what, go over there and be depressed and fuck off, you know, and just rip all the fun things out of your life and be a serious stress head with a shit ass job, stressing about bullshit. I'd say, what I'll do, right? I'll fucking stay skateboarding and I'll stay poor, but I'll have the fucking best time of my life. And that's exactly what I'll do. But yeah, when people turn around and say that kind of stuff, it's like, come on, are you kidding me? Get a grip.
Yeah. And like, my dad is still like a big kid, you know, so I know where I get my big kid genes from, but I don't want to stop. I don't want the fun or that, you know, all the childlike things like awe and wonder and interest and, you know, like adventure, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to stop that. Why would I want to stop that? That's like the best of me. And it is what also feeds creativity, isn't it? Like, all those things give you that extra. And
they all lie past the opportunity of saying yes or saying yes. Yeah, all those things lie beyond your fears.
Yeah,
and you've just got to just say, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah,
That's you know, I mean, if I can do it, Rick, fuck, geez. I mean, they kept me back in the first year for 2 years, and I was lost, cheated all the way. I used my cheating skills then at Sanchez to trick Pritch. A byproduct of not being switched on. I think is ADHD, dyslexia, something like, you know. But yeah, when you have to like learn to get around things, you can transfer those skills sort of thing. So being bad in school transferred to Sanchez.
Yeah. Well, again, that is something that I thought about. It's like when you know, like I got like 2 C GCSEs. That was like my highest grade. Like I was predicted to be higher, and then when it came down to it, it ended up all kind of falling apart, and it was like C, D, 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 and then further down. But when you don't have that stuff to go and do the things that everyone else does, you kind of then have to think, right, well, what do I have? You know, what is my skill? What am I good at? What, you know, how can I make something of myself? Not even necessarily, I guess, in those terms that it's, you know, like I want to make something of myself. It's just like, what have I got? Like, let's deal with this. Let's use this skill. And how you change the way that you work within that, you know, and like double down basically on the one thing you're left with. I will also say one last thing, if with relation to this. When I did the a little bit of research, it said that, you know, you were the one who worked the hardest. Season 3, yeah.
I was the one that worked the hardest.
That's what it says. You were the one who worked the hardest. So you were happy to work hard and get down and do the work.
On season 3 of Sanchez.
I was just reading some fan website, and it said that, and it was like on season 3.
I can tell you what happened, because that rings a bell, because Becky Stanley, first season of Dirty Sanchez, director, first season. She said, "Thank God that now looking back on it, it's, you know, fucking looks like bullying." Yeah, a bit. Well, not a bit, a lot with Pritch, but we were both, that's what we were doing. We were torturing each other. That was the name of the game. We both knew what we were doing, but we was on this tour bus going around Europe, and it wasn't a lot happening. And I was just thinking, I'm just going to go back to season 1 in my head. And we're on this bus, and it's just, let's get back to what it was like in the first season. Because season 2 was like, we made the first season, and it was, you know, it was hilarious, but it was pretty gnarly, pretty dark and warped and taboo. It was all sorts of things when the season went out, if you saw that. Season 2 was the jobs for the bios. So they put us into jobs. Yeah. We learned to become like hairdressers in Scotland and cowboys in Arizona, which is amazing. But I didn't really feel that, because it was like, I didn't get it at the time, but they needed to hang the show off something else. But anyway, third season, it was like back to, you're on a bus, you've got money in your back pocket, and we're going to all these places in Europe and Scandinavia, and you can just do whatever you want again. So it went back to Sanchez, and it needed to as well. It just needed to. It felt like that to me anyway. Sorry, I just gone around the house here about nothing.
And is that what? Well, no. Is that what she was saying, that you were the ones that you turned it back into the
yeah, because like obviously I had I always had the video, this camera.
Yeah.
I had that with me the whole time, and when MTV finished filming, I'd get my camera and I'd do the stuff that we did when we were filming Pritchard versus Dainton.
Yeah.
You know, just basic, just stitching each other up, having a laugh, really. Yeah. And so there's a lot of that going on, and I think maybe that's why someone said that in the comments. But Becky said it as well, and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then somebody else told me it was bullying, and I was like, all right, okay. But anyway, we were both condoned.
So do you think, like, do you think that you would be like a producer? Did you produce the guys, or did and I know that obviously, you know, we've discussed about the being in the band thing before, but, you know, like, do you think that you produced the content, or you learned to be a producer by watching those other guys, the MTV guys, do the producing? How did it work? Because now you're using those skills, I guess, in Flock and Follow being a producer, you know, a filmmaker?
I think I learned all those skills through carpentry.
Right.
Because you have to, on jobs, you have to strategize everything and plan it all out.
Yeah.
And see through problems and all that nonsense. See through problems, visualize, not nonsense at all. And yeah, I think, and I'm just bossy, and I kind of know what I want. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit there and say nothing. I'm just going to make sure that the things that need to happen. So yeah, I just want to get shit done, Rick, you know, and if it's going to get done, I'll do it. If it ain't going to get done, I'll come in and do it. Yeah.
And that, again, another trait that, you know, like, I think we've spoke about it before. Sometimes I think people think they see the Dainton from the TV show and they think that's Dainton, but actually there's a razor sharp brain behind that is calculated and aware of a lot of other stuff. Now you maybe won't say that, but you know, from the outside, you know, I've chatted with a couple of people that know you, and that's what I see. I see someone who's, you know, like, I would say that I'm not smart. I'm not academically smart, but I'm sharp. You know, like I can. Yes, Rick, you are. I can be on it, you know, sort of thing. And I think that's the same with you. Is that, you know, like you know what you want. I've just got to go around the houses to get there. do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're not comfortable with that? No. I think my problem is I've had really bad communication problems because of my, you know, I think the reason why I make videos is because I communicate better through video. It's more of an expression through that. So when it comes to speaking like this, I can just say I swear a lot and I just get excited and make noises quite a bit. I think when it comes to like creating the vision or the project, then I just go around and just get it all done. I'm, you know, just do it. Yeah. I'm not a great bullshitter, right? Yeah. No, similar. I'm trying to be one of those bullshitters, you know. Well, the thing is, more talking, but it's more about the doing, isn't it? Yeah, completely. Action speaks louder than words, they say. Yeah. Dude, thank you very much for this. It is Friday, and it's 3 o'clock now. But thank you very much for your time. I really have appreciated it. It's, you know, like, I think we've had a few chats in the past because I've done some bits for Sanchez, and we had what I think ended up being therapy sessions for creatives. Yeah, Rick, I mean, like, when we speak and stuff, it's just like you're into so much you're into so much stuff like similar to the things I'm into. I'm, you know, it's just chatting and listening and jamming ideas, and you know, shit, you must just feel sorry for me or something. No, on fuck's sake. Rick, it's always good to chat, and apologies for the onslaught of swearing. It's all right. I won't be showing it to my kids. One day they'll see it, no doubt. But stick a Sanchez warning board at the front. Will do. Cheers, dude. Thank you very much for your time, and you know, let's keep in touch anyway. Hey, Rick, keep in touch. Yeah. And I was gonna plug this new book I got. All right. Yeah. So Design to Stick. It's another practical guide to starting the business of your dreams. Yeah. And I had a bit of help with it by the author, Rick Jesse. Yourself. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm promoting your book on this podcast. Thank you very much. And that's how we do it. Now, thanks for coming on, Rick. I hope you do well with the book. It's a fantastic read, and it's got me everywhere I am today. Arrivederci. Thank you. Goodbye.